June 9th, 2021. It was shortly after 10 o'clock p.m.
We were dispatched. It came in with entrapment.
When they dispatch a structure fire with entrapment, something else clicks in your head. I don't know what it is, but it gets that 6th or 7th sense moving.
When they dispatch with entrapment, everything just, you try to move faster.
It was a 3-story, middle of the row house. So it was just a long row of 3-story houses with these little alleys that are called Baker's Alleys in between each house.
I remember someone yelling that there's somebody trapped in the rear. So I got out of the truck. When I got through the Baker's Alley, I saw fire in the second floor window. And then I heard glass breaking, thinking that it was someone trying to get out. Ended up being someone breaking the windows. When you break it before we have water on the fire, it makes the fire bigger. At that point, I told them to stop. And then I started up the fire escape to the back door. And then I knelt down and started putting my mask on, and that's when Kurtis came up behind me.
I jogged up to the fire scene. I got immediately stopped by somebody in front of this house. Kind of grabbed my arm and he started screaming that there was somebody trapped in the back. He pointed back to where Steve had already gone. I got back there. Steve was about halfway up the fire escape already. He was already putting his mask on. We didn't have an engine there yet, but I knew that we had to start a search because we had multiple reports, somebody trapped.
When I opened the storm door, it was zero visibility. Smoke was all the way to the floor.
I followed Steve in the door. That second door was only partially open. I wanted to push it the rest of the way open, and it was up against something, so I just took a peek behind that door, because that's where they tell you to check for victims, is underneath windows, behind doors, and that was just apartment clutter. The door couldn't open up all the way. Like Steve said, we had zero visibility. I was right behind him. I couldn't see Steve at all. Once he checked the bed, he went left, I went right. I triple checked the bed. I was in a rush getting out, so I yelled to Steve how to check with his thermal imaging camera, and that was when Steve found the victim.
He was unconscious, face up.
I was dragging the victim backwards.
I was trying to push at the same time.
The lieutenant and Chief Ferrer were working on clearing just some of the clutter out of the way for us, getting the victim out.
As we're trying to drag the victim out, they were actually bringing the hose line, trying to bring the hose line in the same door. This all took place, I think, within from us arriving on location, finding the victim, pulling him out, I think it was something like 6 minutes. When you're in there, it seems like forever. You don't realize how short of a time it was, and that's why I didn't realize that there was no hose line even in the building yet.
You get reports of people trapped. You're mainly focusing on that victim. You kind of fall the second or third in the line, to be honest with you, of important people there.
Your training takes over, your instincts take over, and you do your job.
We work with the same people every day at work, so there is that trust thing there. Like, you trust these people to do their job too, but they're trusting you to get your job done also. It's one of those things that you live with, but there wasn't much more we could have done because we got there quick. It was right around the corner from the firehouse. We couldn't have done any better on our end.
And that's the big thing that you do when someone doesn't make it is, at least for me personally, you play the what if game. What could I have done different? I don't know how many rescues I've been involved with in the 21 years, but it's quite a few, and I've only had 3 that I've been involved with that survived. It's just a fact of life, and you realize that.